Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to this live session on SPA 2022-23 admission guide. So in this particular session, we will be discussing about the application for postgraduate programs at SPA Delhi and briefly on SPA Vijayawada and Bhopal. The official notification for admission of SPA Delhi is already out. So we will focus on that mainly. SPA Vijayawada and Bhopal have a different application process. We'll discuss on the application process in this video, but the official notification for the admissions of Vijayawada and Bhopal are not yet out. It will be after the gate results only. So in this video, in this particular session, you will get an idea, a complete idea on the application process for SPA Delhi, Vijayawada, Bhopal, and some important points to be considered while applying into SPA Delhi because the application is already started. We'll discuss on that particularly. The session will approximately be for 45 minutes long. The session will also be available on a YouTube channel for your further reference later on as well. So let me start firstly by telling you about some important dates with respect to SPA Delhi. So for SPA Delhi, the application is already open. The application link for SPA Delhi Masters. We are only discussing about masters over here in this session. So the application date will be from 8th of March. So it is already open to 28th of March. That's the duration during which you can apply for the courses. 28th of March. So 8th of March to 28th of March, that's the date duration for your application. That's point number one. Point number two, the date, the selection. When will you know if you have if you're selected into the course you're applying for or not? The selection list results basically, the selection list will be published on 10th of May 2022. These are also 2022. So that's about the important dates with respect to the application for masters at SPA Delhi. Now moving into the further details about the masters at SPA Delhi. First and foremost, also remember the application link is already live. You need not print out and send some application form like last year. Probably it is completely online this year. So you need not worry about the posting the application form and all. So firstly, the specializations at SPA Delhi, you have masters, you have masters, M.arch, M.plan, MBA. There are four types, four categories. You have M.arch. Under M.arch, you have three specializations. You have architectural conservation, urban design, and landscape architecture. These are the three specializations for M.arch. And then you're having MBEM, Masters in Building Engineering Management. This is not an M.arch degree. We are sure. We remember that point. So, for example, if you're pursuing MBEM and later on, if your future's aim is to do some government job or some in some development authority under some as a assistant planner or assistant town planner, for that the requirement will be M.plan. So MBEM is not considered as M.arch. MBEM is not considered as M.plan. It is a separate degree altogether. So don't be misinformed that this is an M.arch degree. No, this is a separate degree in itself. And then you're having M.design with specialization in industrial design. And finally, you have M.plan. Under M.plan, you have 5 specializations. You have environmental planning, housing, regional planning, transport planning, and urban planning. So there are 5 specializations under M.plan. So altogether, there are 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 5. Total of 10 specializations are an option for you to pursue masters at SPA Delhi. And as per the official notification and as per the admission process at SPA Delhi, you can apply for only one. Course. So think wisely before you submit your application for a master's degree at SPA Delhi. This is a rule only in SPA Delhi. In SPA Vijayawada and Bhopal, there's no such rule that you need to apply only for one. You can apply for multiple courses as well. But here at SPA Delhi, from last 2 years, it is mandatory, or you can apply only for one particular course of these 10. So think wisely before you apply for the masters at SPA Delhi. That's about the specializations. Let us also have a look at the number of seats before you apply. You can also have a brief idea how many seats are available under each of these courses. So the number of seats under urban planning and BEM has actually been increased. Previously under urban planning, there were only 35 seats. MBEM also. So MBEM and urban planning, these are the two courses which have the highest number of seats. That said, it doesn't mean if you apply into the course you will have more chance to get into it. That's not a relation which you can establish, because the number of applicants also will be more in MBEM and urban planning. That's the reason, because these courses are in demand, the number of seats are also larger. So the number of seats actually have been increased from 35. Previously it was 35 in the course, now it is 39. So urban planning, there are 39 seats in all. MBEM also, there are 39 seats in all. Then you have the remaining courses. You can look from the list. This list is also available on the official notification, or available on the official website of SPA Delhi. So architectural conservation, you have 19 seats. Urban design, total of 25 seats. Landscape architecture, total of 29 seats. You can look into the list and see which course you're applying for. So total, there are 276 seats available for masters in SPA Delhi. That's not a small number. So be confident that you will clear, or you will get into it when you apply. That is important. Confidence is important. So that's about the specializations at SPA Delhi and the number of seats available at SPA Delhi. So the process, coming to the application process, on the website of SPA, on the official website spa.ac.in, on that, under admissions 2022, under that particular tab, you have the links available for application. On the official notification, if you check, there is a link given from where you can access the application links. So once you open the application link, for each specialization you have a separate application link, so you need to click on that. The list of things you need to keep ready before you apply are also given over there. You need to be ready with your mark sheet. If you've completed your bachelor's, you need to be ready with your degree certificate. You should be ready with your ID cards, identity card like Aadhaar card, and all basic requirements. And also the fee receipt. You need to submit. The application fee is 2,500 rupees. So you need to pay 2,500 rupees through the link given of SBI Collect. SBI Collect link is given. Under that, under SBI Collect, there will be a list of categories. You need to select PG application fees. So that automatically will display 2,500 rupees. You need to first pay that. After paying, you need to download the receipt, and that receipt has to be submitted or uploaded on the form of the application. So that's the process. It's pretty simple and clear. Just open the admission 2022 tab. Go through the notification. There's a link given for application. Just go through it, right? So that's the process. You need to apply only for one course. What is the minimum requirement to apply into masters at SPA Delhi is 55% marks, 55% aggregate in your qualifying degree. If your college gives you a CGPA score, you need to check the formula. Each college has their own official process for converting CGPA into percentage. You need to follow that particular process. So generally it is multiplied by 10. So if you're having a CGPA of 6, it means it is 60% generally, but not that. That's not a standard rule always. It depends on which university you're at. So the minimum requirement at SPA Delhi is 55% for application into the master's degree for open category. For SC/ST category, I think it is 50%. There's a 5% relaxation for the minimum requirement in the qualifying degree. So that's about the minimum qualification required. Now moving on, let us try to understand about the application process or the admission process. What is the basis of selection? We are talking about SPA Delhi here. SPA Delhi Masters. Point we are discussing now, I already gave you a brief introduction on as to how to apply, when to apply, what is the application fee. All these basic details I've shared you. All these details are also available on the official website of SPA Delhi. Let us discuss on the most important point of this particular session. That is basis of selection. Many students are inquiring or want to know the details of the basis of selection, how does SPA Delhi give admission? Because remember, as per the official notification, there is no interview, no written test for admission at SPA Delhi into masters this year also, like last year. Even last year there was no interview conducted, no written test conducted. Earlier at SPA Delhi for admission, written test and interview were also important, they're also in the process. But now from last year they have removed that process of selection. As per the official notification uploaded on the website of SPA Delhi, the basis of selection, there are 4 points. 4 points are mentioned for basis of selection. Point number one, the percentage, the marks in your, so it is basically the academic performance. Academic performance, as in it's written as performance in the exams. So academic performance include 3 points. They check your academic performance in the qualifying exam. Qualifying exam as in B.arch or B.plan, whatever you're qualifying. So academic performance in that. Remember one more point here, even if you have not completed your B.arch or B.plan and you're in your last semester, yes, you can apply for the course. You need to upload the mark sheet till the recent one which you have. So if you don't have the last semester's mark sheet, that's perfectly fine. You need to upload or you need to calculate the aggregate marks till the point of time where your mark sheet is available. All the mark sheets also have to be uploaded in the admission link. When you're applying for the admission at SPA Delhi, you need to upload all your mark sheets also, self-attested mark sheets. So all those also have to be applied. So uploaded. So qualifying exam, the performance in that is one important criteria. And secondly, gate performance or seed if you're applying for M design, seed or gate, that also is a criteria, that also is a basis of selection as per the notification. That doesn't mean it is compulsory. Again, remember this point. It is not mandatory at SPA Delhi to have a qualifying seed or gate score, but if you have it, it will be an advantage. It is only one criteria. So the second criteria for basis of selection is portfolio of work, thesis, or any other project which you have done in your degree. So that is point number two. Point number three, the third important criteria is statement of purpose. That's one of the most important ones, statement of purpose. Statement of purpose is where you explain your motivation. Why are you applying for that course? Motivation and interest. So this is basically a small writing on your motivation and interest to apply into that particular course. Point number four, I see some doubt being asked by Kavisha Arora. You can check with your, for such specific doubts, if you don't have something or some information is missing, the best way is in the official notification, the helpline number is given for admission of SPA Delhi. Call them during the office hours, they will guide you and they'll help you out for sure. So ask them if you have any particular query, right? So statement of purpose, explaining your motivation and interest, that's the third important basis of selection. And finally, fourth one is work experience. Relevant work experience. Now, if you have an experience as an architect and you're applying for M.plan, probably that would not be highly advantageous. Relevant work experience already matters. Relevant work experience already always is important. Now, again, remember, it is not a rule that it is compulsory. None of these is compulsory. Portfolio and statement of purpose obviously is mandatory, but seed and gate score is not mandatory. Work experience also not mandatory. Not mandatory. There are people who pursue their masters at SPA Delhi without having a qualifying gate and seed score also. There are people who do the masters at SPA Delhi without any experience, that is direct freshers. So this also is not mandatory. But These are also basis for selection. If you have, that will be a huge added advantage in your application for the program. So let us now try to understand a bit into detail of the basis of selection, because that's this session about. Because I know all of you are looking for application into the SPI Delhi at this point of time. I would suggest you first and foremost, the date of application is open till 28th. So you can at least wait for 2 more days, because the gate result will be out. Most probably gate result will be out by tomorrow. Official date as mentioned in the gate website is 17th, but most probably the results will be out tomorrow. So wait for the gate results, because if you have a gate score, you can also add that, because that will tick one more box. There are 4 boxes for basis of selection. You'll tick one more box if you have a valid gate score. And remember, if gate score is not mandatory for the application, but gate or seat score is mandatory for your stipend. Only if you have a qualifying gate or seat score, you will get your stipend of 12,400 per month. Stipend is given to all the qualifying people. Whoever has a qualifying gate or seat, gate score is valid for 3 years after writing it. So if you're having a qualifying a valid gate score or seat score, you will be getting your stipend. So that is mandatory. So it's not mandatory for admission, but it is mandatory for your stipend in your masters. I see there are some more doubts. I'll respond to the doubts at the end of the session. Let me continue, because it becomes difficult to answer in midway of the session. Kasef Kavita is asking, can you apply for more than one? No, I have already clearly mentioned in the beginning itself, you can apply only for one particular specialization at SPI Delhi. That's a rule for application at SPI. If you apply multiple, that will not be considered. So let us try to understand or analyze these 4 points here, basis of selection. If you carefully observe, the academic performance in the qualifying degree, that is not something which you can probably change at this point of time. If you have already completed your masters, or if you have already completed your bachelor's, obviously you cannot change your marks in your college. If you're doing your thesis, probably yeah, you can slightly improve, but that is something which is not a major thing which you can work on at this point of time. So if you observe carefully, point number one, that's already done. Gate and seed exams are also completed already. So these are not a criteria which you can work on at this point of time. What has to be done is already done. Same thing for work experience. There is nothing which you can do at this point of time, because the application is open till 28th. Today, the date is 15th. So you are just having 13 more days. So in these 12, 13 days, you cannot work on your academic performance or work experience. The thing you can work on at this point of time, or the points which you can focus on at this point of time, is point number 2 and 3. So this is something which you can work on at this point of time, that is portfolio and statement of purpose. And these two are very vital in your admission process. I told you, in SPI Delhi, there is no interview or no written test at SPI Delhi. We'll come to Vijayawada and Bhopal separately towards the end of the session. So there is no interview or no written test, at least till now. If there is any interview or written test, they will again intimate you. But as per the official notification, under basis of selection, only these 4 points are mentioned. So say similar to last year, we can assume that there is no interview or written test unless they publish a new notification or something. That's always the case, but then most probably you will not be having any interview or test as per the existing notification. Only these 4 points. So these become very important. Portfolio becomes very important. Statement of purpose becomes very important and very vital for your admission at SPI Delhi at this point of time, because these are the things which you can still work on. So let us try to understand. Let me give you few insights into how to work on these two things in the remaining 12 days, right? So firstly, let me start with portfolio of work, thesis, and project. I'll take your doubts towards the end of the session. You can put your doubts into the chat if you have any particular doubt. At the end of the session, I'll take some doubts also. So let me first tell you about portfolio. What are the things you need to keep in your mind when you're preparing a portfolio of work? All of you have already completed your bachelor's, or you're almost towards the end of your bachelor's. So I'm sure in your bachelor's, you might have done internship, so you already have a knowledge how to prepare your portfolio of work. I'm not going to the basics, obviously. You all are well aware of the process and how it is done, how portfolio is prepared. Let me tell you a few important points which are important, which are key to keep in your mind at this point of time for your application at SPA Delhi particularly, right? So first and foremost, with respect to portfolio, presentation becomes very important. Presentation is very vital because imagine the number of applicants in each and every course. If you consider a course like urban planning, which has 39 seats, for those 39 seats, approximately 400 to 500 people could apply. Generally, around 400 to 500 people apply for those 40 seats. So one among 10 is selected, is shortlisted for the. So it is highly competitive. I'm not telling only about urban planning. For any course, it is same thing. 1 in every 10, that's the general ratio at which people are selected for SPA Delhi at masters. So if there are around say there are 20 seats, approximately 150 200 students will be applying generally. So presentation becomes very vital. You cannot expect to be selected by preparing a portfolio which doesn't look so good. Looks matter, right? Even if you're having very good content, very good work in your portfolio, presentation also is very vital. You all are well aware of that point, because when a lot of applicants come and they're shortlisting people, at the first glance, creating a first impression, that's very important. So presentation, that is something which you need to work on. You all are aware how to work on presentation because you're already into the field of architecture or planning. You already have prepared your portfolio. So don't overload your slides. Don't overload your sheets with a lot of information, and don't have them empty too. It should not be too empty. It should not be too overloaded. I've seen this generally. Students with B-plan background, they tend to overload their sheets with a lot of information. Yeah, planning, it requires, there's a lot of information, but try to work on it. Don't overload your sheets with information. Even if you're from architecture background, don't overload. Don't put out a lot of drawings, a lot of things onto one sheet. That is something which you need to work on. Presentation is very important. Creating a first impression with your portfolio, that becomes very vital. And secondly, you need to have approximately now. Obviously, you're uploading your portfolio onto the link which is provided. Now, when you're uploading your portfolio, there is obviously a size limitation. So you cannot have say 50 or 60 sheets, and you cannot think that okay, I'll compress it and upload it. If you compress it, it will get pixelated. So be careful with that. Don't have a lot of sheets that you compress it. When you compress it, it becomes pixelated. Take care of it before you upload. Check if it is getting pixelated or not. Check if everything is visible properly or not on the computer screen, because obviously they will be shortlisting by looking from a computer screen. See if everything is good, visible and legible when you upload your the portfolio, right? That's one important thing which you need to work on. The size, number of sheets, pixelation, all these, take care of it before you upload the portfolio. Coming to the content, so this is about the aesthetic quality. Look wise, it should be very good, not pixelated. Coming to the content of the portfolio, ideal would be to upload around, or in a portfolio, in an ideal portfolio, you should have at least 3 projects. It could be from your professional work experience. If you have a work experience, it could be your thesis. Generally, thesis is considered mandatory in your portfolio. So of those 3 projects, 1 project is mandatorily thesis. Make sure of that. You don't skip thesis in thesis. Obviously, that's not something which you can afford to do. Upload your thesis, and remaining 2 projects, make sure you have 2 more projects at least. Now, so at least approximately 3 projects are something which you will work on in your portfolio. And remember, at least 1 project, or it is always better if in each and every project there is something related to your course. Try to have content which is relevant, related to the applying course. Try to have at least 1 project, if possible more than 1 project. I'm not asking you to have a project which is completely related to the course which you're applying, but at least there should be some sort of link with the course which you're applying. Why? Because when the shortlist, or when you are applying, say for example, you're applying for masters in transport planning, before shortlisting, the person who, if you are from architecture background, they should at least find some evidence, some points in your portfolio which show that you're inclined towards transportation. Same goes for everything. If you're applying for landscape architecture, there should be something in your portfolio which shows your inclination towards that course. Having inclination towards a course, having interest in particular course, and being able to present it in your portfolio is very vital in your application. So have something which is relevant to your course. Now, I know many students ask me this doubt. Sir, I am from architecture background. I want to apply for urban planning. I did not do anything relevant to urban planning. So how will I prepare a portfolio? Remember, same thing, if you're applying for transportation, I did not do any work on transportation. Can I apply for the course? Absolutely, you can. But try to find something which is relevant to the course. For example, I can give you a few examples how you can work around it. If, for example, you are from architecture background, have done your bachelor's in architecture, have no work experience in planning, and you want to apply for M.plan in transportation. If that's the scenario, you can, for example, you might have worked on some project like a bus terminal. This is something which I have worked on when I was in my bachelor's. There was a project a semester we worked on bus terminus. In bus terminus, I'm just giving you one example to make you understand how to create relevance to the applying course. In bus terminal design, there was complexity involved in terms of the entry point because the site was located along a national highway. So there is a lot of traffic which moves already on that national highway. And when you create an entry point to the bus terminal from a national highway, the number of buses which go in and come out, that also becomes huge. So there was a requirement to design the entry point in such a way that there is no congestion at that point. You need to create some flyovers or some form of interchange so that minimal interference is done to the traffic flow of the national highway. That was something which we worked on. So that is one aspect. So if I am from VR background, which I was, and if I wanted to apply for masters in transport, I would highlight on that aspect in my portfolio. So I would show that part. Okay, this is how we designed. This is how we done the study. You can show some information on traffic volume counts. Don't shy away from using or showing your experience on the technical aspects. You need to. So if you're applying for transportation, try to show something which is relevant to the technical part of transportation in your portfolio. So you can show some sort of state. So that's just one example. If you're applying for conservation, for example, you're applying for conservation in your masters at SPA Delhi. In your portfolio, even if you have not done anything relevant to conservation, it will always be an advantage if your thesis is related to the course you're applying. If your thesis is something related to heritage structures and you have worked on some heritage plan of the city, and then you're applying for masters in conservation, that will be a huge advantage. But then, even if that's not the case, try to bring some relevance in your portfolio. You can even work right now. It's not necessary that you only show something you worked on during your college time. You can also show something which you have worked out of your own interest. You can also prepare something right now at this point of time. You have 10 days left. If you're applying for conservation, I would say you can create a documentation, at least 1 or 2 sheets of documentation on some heritage structure, some UNESCO World Heritage site, which you can visit actually. Visit, take photographs, prepare a documentation, do some study, do some research, how studies are done in conservation. Try to add it into your portfolio. That really matters. And again, I cannot emphasize this even more because at this point of time, there is no written test, no interview. Portfolio and SOP become very vital in your admission process at SPA Delhi. So try to bring relevance. That is very key. I can give you a few more examples because there are 10 courses and students are applying in all the courses. There are students who apply in different courses. So I can try to give you a wider perspective on these points, how to add points, how to bring relevance in your portfolio. If you're applying for the course of building engineering management, and in your portfolio, it will always be better if you can bring some technical aspects as to you can have a dominance of working drawings in your portfolio. You can add working drawings which you have worked during your internship because that will show your technical knowledge, know-how of the construction sector, engineering part of the building. So try to add working drawings, try to add analysis related to BOQs if you have worked on it. Estimations or some sort of calculations related to the floor area and all. So you can add such technical aspects if you're applying for a course like DEM. Similarly, you can also see if you have worked on your dissertation. You might have worked on your dissertation on some topic. See if that is related with. So sit down, Make a note of points, what you have worked on in your last 4 to 5 years during your bachelor's. Make a list of everything. Try to select wisely which topics are related to the course which you're applying. Now, the reason why at SPA Delhi you can apply for only one course is they really want you to be interested in that course. If you are applying for landscape architecture in your master's, they want to be sure that you're interested in that particular field only. Earlier at SPA Delhi, people could apply for multiple courses during my time, but now you can apply only for one course because they want to be sure that you're interested in it. Show that interest in your portfolio. Uh, Always would be an advantage if you have multiple boxes ticked, like if you have worked, participated in some competition, or if you have even shortlisted for some competition. Try to add those works into your portfolio. Try to highlight that you are shortlisted for some international or national level competition on it. You have worked on some international competition related to the applying course. So try to create relevance. That is important. Creating relevance becomes key in your portfolio. So that's a brief on how you can work on your portfolio. You still have time. You can work on your portfolio even now for the next 10 days and then apply. However, don't try to wait till the end moment. Try to complete the work as soon as possible. So work on portfolio before you complete your application. So that's about point number 2 of the basis of selection. Let me move on to statement of purpose as well. Let us also discuss how to work on statement of purpose and how can you make a best possible SOP. Statement of purpose. Now, with respect to statement of purpose, first let me tell you a brief on the content, the body of the SOP. How can you? There is a word limitation. Adhere to it. Ideally, an SOP should be around 500 words, whatever the limitation is. Use stick to it. And ideally, SOP can be divided into 3 paragraphs or 3 portions. 3 paragraphs would be a best segregation. You can. There's no rule. You can work on your own structure, but the ideal structure would be initial paragraph. First paragraph should show your motivation towards the course which you're applying. There should always be a strong point. You should be able to make a strong point. Why are you selecting the course? So make a strong point. Make a strong point regarding motivation to apply for that course. So for example, if I am applying for transportation, why transportation? If I am applying for regional planning, why regional planning? So make a strong point. It's not like you just write, I'm interested in this course. No, you cannot use such open-ended statements. You need to make a strong point. You need to create a relevance in your past work. So something like you have worked on some competition related to transportation. You got shortlisted during your bachelor's. That's what triggered your interest in transportation. Or you're someone, if you feel you're someone who is good at or is interested in statistical analysis, and you feel transportation is a sector where, or transportation is a specialization where a lot of work related to logical part of statistics, working with data. Working with data is something which is constant in all the M.plan degrees, but in transportation, there is a higher level of statistics and math involved in the data analysis. So if that is something, so try to make a strong point. Okay, how you got triggered or how your interest towards that course got triggered. That is the first and foremost, that should be the first and foremost paragraph in your SOP. Don't start by creating boring introduction. You need not create a lengthy introduction about your past, about your bachelor's and all, how you started your schooling. You need not create a lengthy story related to I did my schooling in so and so place. I did my bachelor's in my bachelor's this. Obviously, yeah, you can make point, but put it very brief. Highlight this aspect strongly. Show your motive. Make a strong point towards the motivation of that course. That is something you can always create an interesting story that will obviously strike. That will always be important. So try to create it with some experience in your life, where it will show the motivation towards that particular course. It should not be like a story. It should be something which is really believable. Should be something which is true. Once you read it, you should feel that, yeah, it is true. So best way is you need to write it only when it is true, right? So that's first point. Make a strong point showing your motivation to apply for that particular course. Second paragraph, you can dedicate it to the particular college you're applying for. Why at SPI Delhi? You have explained why that particular course. Next, why this particular college? For this aspect, you need to work on the technical part, look into the course curriculum. So the you need to go through the course curriculum available on the website of SPI Delhi. You can also you should also look into the technical aspects for the course which you're applying for. So why SPI Delhi? Why that particular college? And what at that point? Don't just write a statement that SPI Delhi is a very good college. No, not that. You need to make strong points in your SOP, make it believable, and write something which you really believe. So by that particular college, look into the course curriculum, see what is being taught, try to not only reading the course curriculum, write SOP in a manner that shows the point. Okay, you have gone through, it shows your interest. So try to use points in the course curriculum. So as per the course curriculum, there is so and so point mentioned, and this point I feel is very useful for me. So try to make such points. Go through the official course curriculum available on the website of SPI Delhi or in the admission brochure of SPI Delhi, and then make points from it. Try to create a relevance, show your interest. So you should not just write the word I'm interested, but you need to write all the points which show your interest in that particular course and that particular college. That's the second point. Third and final paragraph, you can dedicate to the future. What are you aiming for in your future? Future aim, or what are you looking at after your masters? So basically, you can dedicate the last paragraph for after your masters. What are you looking to do after masters, and how you think this course will help you? So these should be the three parameters on which you work on in your SPA. Make a strong point showing your interest in the particular course. Make a strong point why that particular college and why you are choosing this particular course curriculum as your selected as your masters. You need to prove that. Last and final, you need to work on the future. So in the future, I'm planning to do, or this is what I need to work on, and I feel this particular course will be a huge value addition. So that should be the tone of the last paragraph. So this is a brief on the SOP for SPA Delhi. This is not only for SPA Delhi, for any other college, even at SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, you require SOP. So prepare an SOP which you will use multiple times for all the applications later on as well. Even at SEPT, if you're applying in SEPT application, there will be a even more detailed SOP which you require. There will be 3 or 4 questions which you need to answer in the application. So once you work on this SOP, it will be useful for your multiple applications as well. So work accordingly, work on these points, and try to make strong statements in your SOP. And finally, with respect to SOP, take care that there are no grammatical errors. You need to obviously write it in English. You cannot afford to have grammatical errors, punctuation errors in your SOP, because that will make it seem bad. That will create a bad impression for sure. So work on the grammar. Don't make any grammatical errors. Don't create lengthy statements. Make it something which is interesting for the reader who is reading it. Don't make 2 or 3 line long sentences. Have short statements, have strong statements, right? So that's the point which you need to keep in your mind. So excuse me, at this point of time, I would say you need to work on these 2 things for your next 1 week and then apply in SPA Delhi. Now, with respect to SOP, few more points to remember. Use technical terms related to the course you're applying for. If you're applying for transportation, use some technical terms related to transportation. If you're applying for BEM, use technical terms like what is project crash, some technical, see some relevant, show that you know the technical aspects of the course you're applying for. So that should also be evident in your SOP. So try to see if you can use one or two technical terms relevant to that particular course which you're using in your which are visible in your SOP. Other than that, you can talk to the alumni of that particular course. You can talk to some alumni who have done that particular course, learn more about it, and make a point in your SOP that you have done your research on the particular course at that particular college. That should also be evident. So with respect to this, I'm sure every one of you, it's not so easy to get in touch with alumni as such. I'm 100% aware of it. So we have created a portal on our website. You can access, so we have all the details. I'll show you the screen and show you how you can access it. But we have created a portal where you can access the information of most of the specializations which you have for your masters in all the colleges, with all the required data, required information. And also there are videos showing the interaction with our past students. So our students are doing masters or have completed the masters almost from most of these courses, most of these colleges, even including SPA Delhi. So we've tried to create some interactions with our past students and alumni of those courses, and have uploaded it onto the website. So I can quickly show you how you can access it. So you need to go on to the website of MentorGate. I hope the browser is visible to you. So once you log on to mentorgate.com, that is our website of career revenues. So you can look into this website under courses. Under courses, under Gate Architecture, go to career guidance. So you can find here the list of colleges in which you can apply for your masters. IITs, NITs, SPS, other government colleges and private colleges which you have. So for right now in this session, we are focusing on SPAs. So this is still in progress. Data related to all the courses are not yet available probably, but we are still working on it. We have tried to include the work, at least the SPA part is half done. So you can start using this information. So for example, SPA Delhi, you have gone to SPA Delhi, you want to know about landscape architecture. So you go to this, all the details of the course, duration, the semesters, eligibility, student intake, objective of the course, criteria for the admission are all mentioned over here in this portal. You can also view the video, which shows a small interaction with our past students of that particular course. So you can watch this video over here. Right, so you can view this video. In this particular in this interaction, we have discussed the important points with that particular alumni of that particular course, specifically landscape architect. Bikramjit Dar, our past student, is doing his landscape architecture at SPA Delhi. So we've asked him questions like, how is the course, what is to be done in the course, or what should you be prepared before joining the course, how is the placement scenario. All the details are discussed. So we've tried to include such discussions for almost all the specializations. You can check that under the courses, under career guidance. Go to SPS and you can select the course which you are applying for. So we have most of the interactions, we have already done it. So even in conservation, you can find the video with video interaction with Samta, right? So you can do that, view that, and you can get to know the details over there, right? So just a second. So that's about statement of purpose. So let me move on to I'll look into the doubts. I see there are a lot of questions. I'll try to respond to most of the questions towards the end. Let me just give you a brief on the SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada too, and then we'll move on to the questions part. So coming to SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, let me share you a few insights. The SPA Bhopal and SPA Vijayawada both have approximately around, I think, 150 seats in each for your masters in both the colleges. So common thing in SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada firstly is, in both these colleges, 60% of the intake is through CCMT. What is CCMT now? CCMT is a common portal through which you can get admission into, CCMT is for admission into NITs. It's a common admission portal. Now for IITs, after your gate rank is out, after your gate score is out, once your gate scorecard is out, you can start applying for various IITs. You need to individually apply for each and every IIT. As far as CCMT is considered, this is a common portal for your admission into NITs and SPS, only SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada. So 60% of the intake, 60% of the seats of each and every course is for only CCMT. And remember, only if you get your admission through CCMT at SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, only then you will get your stipend. Stipend of 12,400 will be given to you each month only if your admission is through CCMT at SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada. In SPA Delhi, it's not that way. Everyone with a valid gate score will be given a stipend in SPA Delhi. But in SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, you need to get your admission only through CCMT to get the stipend. That's one process. The remaining 40% of the seats, are through direct admission. 40% of the seats are through direct admission. So in this direct admission, you do not require gate score or seed score if you're applying for M.Design at SPA Bhopal. SPA Bhopal has M.Design too. So for the direct admission, it is not mandatory to have a gate score. But if you have it, that will be an advantage, obviously. But remember one more point here, very important point. If you have a gate score, if you have a valid gate scorecard, qualifying gate scorecard, and you take admission through this direct admission, you will not get your stipend. Even if you have a valid gate scorecard, you will not get it. If you want to get your stipend, you should get your admission only through CCMT process. At SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, both it is the same route. If you get your direct admission and if you're having gate scorecard, even then you'll not get your stipend. That's point number one. Coming to the process of direct admission at SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, you need to fill in your application form. Here there will be test and interview both generally. This year's admission brochure is not yet out, so we don't know this year's process. But last year, both at SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, there was a written test and there was interview. In SPA Vijayawada, physical written test was conducted, so you need to go to Vijayawada to write the test. In SPA Bhopal, it was an online test last year because of the COVID situation, but this year we don't know. Last year, SPA Vijayawada's admission process was already done before the peak of COVID came, but Bhopal's admission was slightly late during the peak of COVID, so it was conducted online. So this year we don't know, the brochure is not yet out, but you will most probably have a written test and interview also, both at SPA and Vijayawada, if you're applying through direct admission. If you're applying through direct admission, you need to also you have the basic things like SOP also, portfolio as well. All these are important even in SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada direct admission, but additional things will be test and interview. SPA Bhopal's test, which was conducted last year, was kind of descriptive. So the test conducted for SPA Bhopal last year, there were two parts in the test, as we had discussions with our students who have cleared the SPA Bhopal test. From the information from them was there were two parts in the test. First part, there were questions like brief introduction of yourself. Why are you selecting this course? Basically SOP. So these were given in the first part of your test. Second part of your test, there were 3 or 4 questions with situations given. Like, for example, if there under transportation, there was a question something like, if there is an underground metro system which is being introduced into your city, what impact will it have on the traffic characteristics of your city? The modes, how will it impact various modes which people will be selecting? So small write-up on it. So they'll be mentioning the time and the words also. So it's kind of descriptive test, not an MCQ test, at least in last year. We don't know about this year yet, but last year so be prepared for such aspects. So before you apply for a particular course or before you take a test for that particular course if you're applying through direct admission, be aware of the basic points, basic details about that particular course, technical aspects of that particular specialization. Be aware of those points. So one last point, SPA Bhopal and Vijayawada, there is no rule that you should apply only for one course. You can apply for multiple courses also. But you need to pay additional fee for each and every course. So if you are applying for 2 courses, you need to apply 2 times the application fee. That will be something which you need to remember for Bhopal and Vijayawada. So that's a brief webinar related to the admission process for SPI Vijayawada, SPI Bhopal, and SPI Delhi. We've gone through SPI Delhi in detail because the admission brochure, application brochure is already out and we know the steps clearly. Bhopal and Vijayawada, the points, the official brochure is yet to be, or it will be out only after the gate result. So let's wait. Once you get the notification, we will share you the details. And lastly, again, make use of the data which we have compiled on our website, mentorgate.com. Go through it, go through the videos, video interaction of the students of SPA Delhi, which we have uploaded. So see, and be informed of it and try to talk to alumni from your end as well. So that's about it. Let me take few questions before I end today's session. You need not rewrite your questions into the chat again. I'm going through all the questions and I'll try to respond to as many as possible, which I did not answer during the session. Would it be better to upload your dissertation as in the report or any projects only? Akshay Gupta, you can absolutely upload your dissertation report work also. Portfolio doesn't mean only drawings or only architectural drawings. No, if you're applying for something in planning, it will actually be better if you show something on which where you have worked with some data, with some aspect related to planning. So don't shy off, don't create a limitation that your portfolio should have only drawings. No, you can upload dissertation, you can upload any sort of technical work related to the course which you're applying for in the portfolio itself. But don't create boring portfolios with lot of written things in it. Try to add pictographic form of representation. Try to create interest, as I already told you. Can we apply for more than one course? I already answered that question. At SPA Delhi, you can apply only for one course. SPA Vijayawada and Bhopal, you can apply for multiple courses. Portfolio has to be compilation of projects or only thesis is fine. Ankita, it would be better if you have more than one project because you cannot take a risk on putting all your eggs in one basket. You cannot hold everything onto your thesis. Don't do that. I think that would be my suggestion, up to you, but it is always better if you can have more than one project at least. So that's about it. If I take admission in landscape design, I'm not gate qualified. I'm seed qualified. Am I eligible for the stipend? Jeevan, no. If you have a valid seed score, you will get stipend only if you take admission into M design. If you take your admission in any other course other than M design, you require a valid gate score to get your stipend. You cannot use seed score to get your stipend for other courses other than M design. I hope that answers your question, Jeevan. Shravan has a question. If we are opting for urban design, is it okay the portfolio is compiled of general works? Shravan, yeah, but as I told you, it is always better if you have urban design project in your course curriculum, add that into your portfolio. That will be a huge advantage. Always create relevance, as I already told you. Can we submit a cumulative mark sheet that consists all semesters or on a single sheet instead of all separately? Tiara, I think Tiara Raghuvanshi. I think you can check in the application link. I think they will be asking you mark sheet of individual years. But if you have a combined one, just check. You can contact the admission office helpline number given in the admission, in the advertisement. Contact them. But I think they will ask you for individual years mark sheets, not only the cumulative one. Uma has a question. In application, there are thesis work and portfolio. Okay, so you need to apply both them. So check what is in the application link and upload your portfolio accordingly. You need to work, I think probably share a separate documentation on your thesis. So whatever is given in the link, application links, work accordingly. Can we upload research paper and working drawings rather than designs we did in third year? Muskan, absolutely, yeah, but don't create monotony in your portfolio. Don't do only report work. Obviously, if you have some published paper, that will be a huge advantage when you apply, but try to have projects also. Create an interesting portfolio. That's the basic point to keep in your mind. Purnima has a doubt. Can someone apply for second masters in planning after pursuing M.arch? Will they consider it, or should I avoid mentioning the M.arch? Now, Purnima, that is something which needs a thought. I think, yeah, you can mention it, but you need to have a strong explanation why are you doing it. If you already have completed your mark and you're applying for M.plan, you should be able, they will obviously ask you, why are you doing it? If you have an answer, then say. If you don't have an answer for it, then don't. It's up to you. So if you have a strong answer which you think is convincing, absolutely, yeah, you can mention it. That's the answer for you, Purnima. Aparna Bolli, landscape suggestions. I think I did discuss about landscape too on the portfolio part. You need both on portfolio and SOP. Try to create relevance. That's the basic point. Try to look into technical terms. Try to look into the course curriculum at SPA Delhi and try to create relevance in your both SOP and portfolio. For better understanding, you can also check the video of Vikramjit, which is available on a portal which I just told you about. Siddhi has a doubt. Can you explain for regional planning as well? I am not from regional planning, or for that matter, I'm not from planning background to give you very detailed insights into the courses. But that's the reason we did upload interactions with various alumni of the courses. You can check Siddhi on the website. Check the, I think for regional planning, we did not upload the interaction yet, but you can find the interaction with the alumni of urban planning on the website. Just have a look at it. You'll get an understanding how regional planning is different from urban planning. All that information is available in the video, which we have uploaded on our portal. Amir Azad has a question. Is it necessary to have portfolio in PDF format? Yes, Amir Azad, that is required. Uma Mullapudi has a point. 200 words is mentioned in SOP. Yeah, you have to adhere to whatever is mentioned. Kavita has a doubt. Can we apply? I think apply for more than one course at SEP. Yeah, Kavita, you can apply for more than one course at SEP. Falguni has a question. Do we need to upload our portfolio before 28th of March? Absolutely, yeah, Falguni, you need to upload before 28th of March. Can you please give a comparison between SPA and SEPT? Share, I think one parameter which is different would be the stipend and also the fees. These parameters are different between SEPT and SPA. But for better insights, I think it is always better to have first-hand experience, first-hand talk with someone who has done that course. As I already told you, we are creating that portal to help the student community with interactions of our previous students and also other alumni of various courses. We will for sure add the interactions with people at SEPT also. You can be updated on a portal. But yeah, from your end also try to talk with better understanding of particular college. Try to get in touch with alumni who has done course at that particular college. What's the expected cutoff of GATE exam, Shreya? Obviously, it's very difficult to guess, but probably this year it would be around 38, most probably the cutoff. Sukanya has a question. I have a doubt on work experience when college admission form ask about number of years of experience. Should we give the number of months we've worked till the anticipated date of joining? Sukanya, no, I think because when you apply, when you fill something in the application form, you also need to support it with the documentation. You need to also upload your work experience, or if they ask you, you need to show the work experience. So write only the work experience that you have till the date of filling the form, not till the joining date, right? That would be incorrect if you add till the joining date. Angel has a doubt. Angel Bhatia has a doubt. Tell something about dissertation and research paper. As I told you, if you have some research paper or dissertation, yeah, you can show it in your portfolio. Portfolio not remain limited to drawings. Please tell about SEPT after this. Sheza will try to have a session separately for post-gate session. Once the gate results are out in few days, we'll have a separate session for all other colleges. This session is only about SPA. For other colleges, we have a separate session, do not worry. Ankita has a question. Does the valid gate score in SPA Delhi depend on the cutoff of the exam? Absolutely, Ankita. Yeah, you will get a gate scorecard only if you qualify, only if you pass the cutoff mark. That's true. Shreya has one more question. Please let me know something about how to present my research and dissertation in the portfolio, as I have few papers published and wish to present them. You can directly add them in the portfolio itself, in the PDF which you're having. You can add the sheets of your dissertation and also the research paper if you have a published one. That will really be a huge advantage. How to enroll for CCMT? Siddhi, the CCMT portal for this year is not yet live. After the gate result, after a few days, it will get live. We will upload on all our social media handles once the CCMT portal is live. So don't worry about it. Once the portal is live, then you can think about applying on CCMT. First step is gate result, then CCMT application later after that. Is there any age limit to get gate stipend? No, Rokia Khan. No, there is no age limit for stipend. Purnima has a question. Can I apply? I think I answered that question. We should apply enter paper or just abstract. Yeah, depends. If you're able to adhere to the size mentioned in the upload, there's a size limitation. If you're able to limit to it and are able to upload a complete paper, yeah, you can do it. But I think it is wise to have parts of it at least. If not, if your research paper is a very lengthy one, try to extract parts of it and then you can try to upload it. That would be better way. Can you please tell us about the process for IITs and NITs? Gyanta. Gyanta, see, for NITs, the application process is through CCMT. The CCMT portal is not yet live. For IITs, you need to apply individually into each and every IIT, and then also apply through a common portal. There's also a common portal which will be live. But as I told you, we'll have a separate session for that. Do not worry. We'll let you know on the process. Thesis is still in progress, so shall we put partial thesis like synopsis, literature review, or we can skip thesis? Gayatri, no, you need not. You should not skip the thesis because they ask separately about your thesis. You need to apply the work, apply with the work which you have till now. Don't leave it out completely. Ali Khan has a question. What are the respective weightages for each criteria? That is not something, Ali Khan, which is publicly available from the SPA portal, which criteria has which weightage, but generally fields like SPA, BEM have a higher weightage for gate score. Uh, Fields like conservation tend to have higher weightage for portfolio. So it depends on the course which you're applying for, but there's no official figure as such available regarding the weightage for each of these points. Do we need to apply the portfolio along with the admission form, submit during the interview process? Shruti, there is no interview for SPA Delhi as I told you. You need to upload it right now. So yeah. Do we need portfolio for admission into IITs and NITs? OVR, no. Few IITs like IIT Delhi and IIT Madras used to conduct interview few years ago, 3 years ago. But from last 3 years they have stopped. So at this point of time, for any IIT or NIT, there is no return test or interview as such, except for interdisciplinary courses. There are some interdisciplinary courses at IIT Bombay, like urban management. There's a course something with that name. So for such interdisciplinary courses, yeah, there is a separate interview. But for normal M.plan courses and M.arch courses and M.tech courses, no, there is no interview, no written test, no portfolio required. Only your gate score is required. That's your answer, Ovia. Minu has a question. Is MBM admission very tough? Getting AR below 100 is important in GATE. Minu, not a rule. There are students, there are past students of ours also in MBEM. In fact, there are students in MBEM who do not have a valid GATE score also. But as I told you, it is always better to have multiple box ticked. If you're not qualified in GATE also, you stand a chance to get into MBEM. But the remaining aspect should be very strong. SOP, a portfolio, work experience. If these are strong, yeah, even without a valid GATE score, you can get your admission. But that's it. It's not a rule basically. But if you have a very good rank, that will be a huge advantage in MBEM. Generally in MBEM, GATE score tends to have a higher weightage. If you're having a good GATE rank, you stand a better chance to get into MBEM generally. Gayatri, what is the word limit for SOP? That will be mentioned when you fill the application form. As someone has just stated, it is 200, they say. But have a confirmation once again when you apply on the official portal. Bindas has a question. I have qualified GATE in second year of master course. Can I get stipend from the second year? Jeevan, I'm not 100% sure about SPA Delhi, but in IITs and NITs, yeah. If you qualify your GATE after joining the course, in the second year, you will get your stipend. But that is in IITs and NITs, because SPS have a different functioning, because the stipend at IITs come through AICTI, AICTE, but but SPS, you get your stipend through MHRD directly. So the process is different. Just have a confirmation, talk to the official contact number given in the portal, and then check. If you clear your gate after first year, will you get stipend in second year? But in IITs and NITs, yeah, you will get that. That's your answer, Jeevan. Ankita has a question. Do we have to make a resume as well like we do in the internships? Ankita, yeah, I think you can add that in the starting part of your portfolio. That would be good. Himanshi has a question. Can we upload professional work experience this year because they are mentioned for the portfolio, including work on qualifying degree? Yeah, if you have work experience, yeah, you need to show your work which you have done during your work experience, and you need to also upload this documentation showing your work experience. That is important. CCMT is for SPS and NITs, and what is the process for IITs then? What is required score for admission in these? Akshay, as I told you, two things. Number one, we will have a separate session for admission at IITs once the gate score is out, which will be out in 2 days. We'll let you know. We have a separate session on that. Secondly, you can keep checking our portal. I told you mentorgate.com, that's a website. Go to the website which I just showed you over here. We have also uploaded for IITs as well in the career guidance. You also have IITs. You can check. I think it is not completely live yet. We are working on it, but you'll get video interactions showing you the closing rank details and all for most of it. So you can find all these details on our website, mentorgate.com, under courses, career guidance of architecture, right? That's the answer for you. Sheza has a question. The internship we do in 9th semester, its experience certificate, can we give for work experience? Sheza, no. They have clearly mentioned work experience after qualifying degree. That will have weightage. Internship, no, that will not be considered as work experience. But yeah, you can show that, but that will not be considered as work experience, as I told you. Kavita has a question. Is it very difficult to get admission in SPA Delhi without a valid gate score? Kavita, not necessarily. As I told you, there are people get admission without a valid gate score, but other aspects should be strong. If you're not having gate score, the other three aspects should be strong. What are the other three aspects? Work experience, SOP, portfolio. Those are strong. Yeah, you will stand a better chance to get admission without gate score also. Ankita has a question. Does extracurricular activities add to the work experiences? I don't think that is counted as work experience, Ankita. Abhishek has a question. Do we need to have only AR gate paper or another gate paper? For example, GE, as gate is not compulsory for selection, only for stipend. Not mentioned anything about gate paper. Abhishek, no. Only in the official admission advertisement, there are courses mentioned. What all courses people can apply. So you need to qualify gate from those specializations only to get the stipend, not any random gate paper. Aparna has a question. What is the exam pattern in SPA Vijayawada? Aparna, SPA Vijayawada, I think last year had a MCQ based question paper for the admission. But that's not a rule, can change from year to year. Would always be better try to get in touch with some alumni who is in that particular college particularly, right? What is the difference between CCMT and direct admission? Praveen, I told you CCMT is through gate score. CCMT is a process where you apply for the counseling process using your gate score. If you don't have gate score, then you can go through direct admission. Or you have a very large gate rank, something like 3,000, 4,000. If that's your gate rank, then you can apply through direct admission. You'll stand a better chance. If you're having a good gate rank, you can always go through CCMT directly. That's your answer, Praveen. Oh, yeah, Kavit. Okay, fine. Shruti has a question. If I get into any other college other than government, will I get stipend and a gate scorecard? No, Shruti. Only government colleges give you stipend with a valid gate score. Right? I think I've answered all the questions. What will be the average fee of SPA? Praveen, it is uploaded on the website. For the first year at SPA Delhi, the fees is 79,000, which includes 20,000 of returnable fee, a fixed deposit, or a security deposit, something like that. Check the official website for the fee details and all. But I think it was 79,000 as it is mentioned on the portal. So with that, I'll end the session. Thank you for attending the session, and yeah, stay in touch with us on all the social media handles, and we'll conduct a separate post gate counseling session for other colleges as well. Thank you, everyone.